Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back into the Bears Den, an NFL podcast with the Chicago Bears First Focus. I'm your host, Alex, here today on Monday. Week 10 is now done, and a little bit of a later video today, but wanted to hear what head coach Matt Eberflus had to say today after the game. Really surprised that he's still employed, to be honest. Surprised and not surprised, because this is what the Bears do. They don't fire people mid-season. Some sort of 100-year standard that they're trying to hold up. They're stuck in the 1920s. Being bad is acceptable at Hallis Hall, and it's acceptable for people like George McCaskey, Virginia McCaskey, Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, and even Matt Eberflus. The Bears lose 19-3 yesterday to New England at home. Their worst loss of the season, and one of their worst losses under Matt Eberflus. And you might think, well, how is that true? They've been blown out a lot of times. They lost, 40 whatever to, 10 or whatever it was against Kansas City last year. This was at home against a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback. And you scored 3 points. You fell to 4-5, and I said it 3 weeks ago after the Washington loss that I feared that it was a season-changing loss and that they were at a fork in the road and they had two ways to go. They could either move on from that game and continue their season, or they can let it affect them. 3 weeks removed from that game, it's clear that the Bears have now let this affect them. And there's no going back. Bears have now lost 3 straight, and Caleb Williams is regressing, and it doesn't look great. And it's extremely frustrating as a fan to watch. And there's no accountability at all from this coaching staff. There's no fight in this team. There was fight for a moment when DJ Moore caught that pass and broke some tackles. There was some energy at Soldier Field. There was some energy from the team. And then I think 2 snaps after that, there was a penalty, and it was back to normal. So there was hope there for a second. But the Bears lead the league in false starts. The Bears have one of the worst third down percentages in the league. I think they're worst in 3rd and 3 or less. The Bears are not a good football team, and it sucks. It really bothers me to say that, because a month ago they were a really good football team. Because good teams beat up on bad teams. But now the Bears have returned to what they've been the last few years of my life. They lose to bad teams. And so the story today is, well, what are they doing? Shane Waldron isn't fired yet. Matt Eberflus is not fired yet. And at Hallis Hall, they're talking about changes will be made. Matt Eberflus says changes will be made. But they're evaluating that, and it's going to take a little bit of time this week. So the Green Bay Packers, excuse me, the Green Bay Packers are coming into town this week. And instead of game planning for them, we are now going to be focusing on making changes. So this will bleed into this week. This Patriots loss, this Patriots beatdown will bleed into this week. And then come Thursday, Friday, then we'll start game planning for Green Bay. But by then it'll be too late. And we will get destroyed. See, this is the problem with this coaching staff. They're in over their head. They're too worried about what has been instead of what's up ahead. They don't know what to do. Because a competent head coach, after 2 straight weeks of extremely poor play from his offense, would have said, before this Patriots game, Shane, if the same things continue, we're going to have to move on. We're going to have to make a change. So that come last night, or come this morning, Shane Waldron's gone, And we can look ahead to Green Bay and how we're going to implement, whether it's the quarterback's coach or the passing game coordinator or whoever it is. They're going to get the play calling duties. We're going to figure out how we're going to implement that, and we're going to move forward. But they're going to waste this week figuring out what they want to do, and they're going to get destroyed at home by Green Bay. This is the problem with the Bears. They lack accountability. I'm speaking as an organization, as a franchise, as a name. They lack accountability. They lack the ability to admit that they were wrong, that they messed up. We're seeing that with Ryan Poles, and another week has passed, and now I'm getting closer to being done with Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles doesn't want to admit the mistake of hiring his friend. He doesn't want to admit that keeping Matt Eberflus this season was the wrong choice. So he'd rather just tank the rest of the season, dive down, struggle the rest of the year, and waste a year of Caleb Williams' development rather than pull the plug on something we know isn't working, something that hasn't worked all 3 years. Because with all this talent addition, with all these roster pieces, the team is getting worse. It's looking like this team is going to win less games than they won last year. They're not improving. So why are we continuing to stick with this? It's an asinine decision. It is inept, and it's infuriating. And I'll tell you this, what I noticed between a good coach in Dan Campbell and a terrible coach in Matt Eberflus. We've heard it from Matt Eberflus all season, right? He wanted to talk to Caleb and coach Caleb about how important protecting the football is. And of course there's merit to that. You want to protect the football. But I think now it leaked into Caleb's game so much to that of Justin Fields' game last year, that he doesn't want to play football anymore. He doesn't want to play his game because he's so worried about turning over the football. So that he's now not actually just playing the game. Jared Goff last night against the Houston Texans threw 5 interceptions. They won the game. The team rallied around them, and the head coach trusted him to continue making plays, continue taking deep shots. And it was an uncharacteristic night where a lot of the passes were picked off, 5 of them. But his coach believed in him, the team believed in him, and they rallied around him, and they won against a good Houston team. And the truth is, Matt Eberflus is getting his wish. Caleb Williams hasn't thrown an interception since October 13th. But you know what else hasn't happened since October 13th? Caleb Williams hasn't had a touchdown. So you're getting what you want, Matt Eberflus. You're getting your wish. Not turning the ball over. And where does it take you? What does it get you each week? Well, last week against Arizona, I got you 9 points. And this week against the 2-7 Patriots, we got you 3 points. Me personally, against the Jags, where Caleb threw a pick in that game, I'd rather take the pick and 35 points versus the no picks and 3 points. That's just me. Maybe I'm different than Matt Eberflus. I don't know. You tell me what you guys think. Because I'm seeing a rookie quarterback that is now scared to play the game. I'm seeing a rookie quarterback not on the same page with his receivers in week 10. I'm seeing receivers drop the ball. Omadunze yesterday, once again, had a ball go right through his hands. I'm seeing receivers not putting in effort, not taking every play seriously. I'm seeing my tight end, who is top 5 in the league, not get targets. And then on one single drive, force-fed targets on every single play. I'm seeing my rookie quarterback get sacked 9 times against the defense that had 16 sacks on the year up to that point. And then while he's on the ground, not have his own offensive lineman help him up. And he has to get helped up by the opposing team's players who are then patting him on the head. I will debate anyone that tries to defend this staff. And I will try my best to debate anyone that goes after Caleb Williams. There's areas where Caleb can play better, of course. I'm not going to sit here and admit, and act like that's not true, because it is. Yesterday, he took 2 sacks that put the Bears out of field goal range. And there's people online saying that, oh, well, he cost the Bears some points. Okay. Let's say that he cost them 2 field goals yesterday with those sacks. The Bears lose 19-9. There's areas where he can be better. He missed some throws. Perhaps there's plays where he's holding the ball too long. I have to watch the tape. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do that tonight. So I will be able to confirm that probably tomorrow or whenever I talk about the Bears next. But this is not working. Matt Nagy took the Bears to the playoffs 2 times with Mitchell Trubisky and an offense that had weapons way less talent-wise than what we have now. We didn't have a Hall of Fame receiver in Keenan Allen on our team. We didn't have probably a fringe Hall of Famer in DJ Moore on our team. We had Allen Robinson, who was a good receiver at the time. Top 20 guy, top 25 guy. We didn't have a DeAndre Swift. We had Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen, who I love, who was an elite talent at running back. This coaching staff is lost. They have no answers. They don't know what the problem is. And you see that every single week. And the team doesn't believe in the coach. They don't believe in the offensive coordinator. They don't believe in the head coach. They're lost. They're lost. And I've never seen a Bears team. I have seen a Bears team meltdown like this once. In 2020, they started 5-1, and they melted down. Finished that year 8-8, I want to say. Similar to that season, but this is worse. Because the Bears went from scoring 24, 36, 35 to 15-9-3 against bad defenses. So we can either continue just doing this and waste a year of Caleb's rookie contract, because that was the thing, right? That was one of the talking points. And I'm not going to sit here and debate Justin Fields or Caleb Williams, because I think the Bears made the correct choice. But that was one of the talking points going into this offseason. Well, if you take Caleb Williams, you get to reset the clock with the contract. Okay, well, we've done that, and here we are wasting one of those years. So I don't want to hear Matt Eberflus talk about, when they asked him today, what about the offense struggling the first part of the season? Because he's talking about how they looked good for 3 straight games. Yeah, well, they sucked the first part of the season. And he talks about how it was a new team and, rookie quarterback, and we were figuring things out. No. That's not how it works. You get paid to coach and win games the entire year, not just after the first quarter of the season. Because Pittsburgh had a new offensive coordinator. They had 2 new quarterbacks, and they're 7-2. They figured it out. Washington has a rookie quarterback with a new offensive coordinator, a new coaching staff, and they figured it out right away. So enough with the excuses, okay? What we're doing here isn't good enough, and I'm tired of acting like it's not. And Kevin Warren clearly was brought in to build the stadium. That's it. Because if he had any actual power and he cared about the team and the franchise, he would have fired Matt Eberflus last night. But it's evident why George McCaskey brought him in. He's here to build the stadium, and that's it. That's his sole focus. So he's useless, right? On the football side of things, his ass is useless. So we're not going to hear from him anymore. Because he's doing nothing. You go build your stadium for a terrible team. And Ryan Poles now has hitched himself to the wagon. He had a chance to separate. He had a chance to pull the plug on something that's not working. And now he's chosen to go down with the ship. And with each passing week that this continues, I get closer and closer to being done with him because he neglected the offensive line this year. Get all these flashy weapons, bring in the star running back, the receivers, the extra tight end, but you forget the most important part of the offense, and that's the offensive line. Because guess what? Nothing else works when you can't block, when you can't protect the quarterback. Look what Jim Harbaugh did this year. All offseason, they're ripping the Chargers, trading away Keenan Allen, right? Trading away, letting Austin Eckler go. Who is Justin Herbert going to throw the ball to? Yeah, well, they keep winning. They took offensive linemen. They built offensive line. With the 5th overall pick, they took Joe Alt when they could have taken Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze or whatever other receiver they wanted. They took Joe Alt. And guess what? They can run the ball. They can pass. We see it with the Chiefs, right? You don't need all these elite, all-star, flashy weapons when your quarterback has time. Because the guys will get open if he has time. So I'm getting closer and closer to being out on Ryan Poles. Not there yet, but I'm getting close. That's where I sit. Season is wrapped up in my eyes. Unless somehow whatever change they decide to make at offensive coordinator, if they fire Shane and whoever's elevated or whatever, if that fixes it, if that ignites the team, then okay, fine. But where I sit right now, with all the distractions, with all the noise, this team will not win another game this season. That's how I feel right now. You just scored 3 points against the Patriots. Okay, Detroit might put 70 on us. Green Bay is going to probably put 35 plus on us this week. Minnesota, who's looked rough the past couple of weeks, they'll find a way to get it done. And then you play San Francisco, you got Seattle in there. We aren't going to win another game at this rate if this continues. I've had enough. Fire them now. Or fire everyone. Make your choice. That's where I'm at, guys. Appreciate you guys, as always, listening, hanging out with me in the den. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. I know that you guys are too if you're a Bears fan. If you're a Patriots fan, congrats on the win. You guys deserved it. You were the better team, no doubt. And Drake May's looking pretty solid. So we're almost at 100 subscribers. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Would really mean the world to me. Appreciate you guys as always. Bear down. We'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.